Welcome to my worst date.
Oh my God, we're so in sync. You guys.
We're like the twins.
We're triplets. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Oh my God. That video is so fucking funny. Also, can we please talk? Okay, so what we're talking about is there are these two Australian twins. Their mom got like mugged at gunpoint or something, and they were interviewed. And when I first heard this, I was like, oh, they're probably like younger women. These women
when I
are
saw them
fully like in their 50s.
Yeah.
And they are identical twins and they are dressed identically. And can we please talk about like grown ass women who dress in matching outfits every day?
Oof. It's a real stunted behavior happening across the board there. Like I've seen this type of thing before though. Like it gives like real folie à deux minus the folly.
Yeah.
It's giving Grey Gardens.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember that show? I think it was on TLC, and it was something about siblings and sisters, like who were like extremely close.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes was this famous twin pair who share everything. They do exactly the same things. They dress the same. They do their hair the same. They clean, like everything they do whenever they're cleaning. They're like, if she does 15 swipes, I have to do 15 swipes whenever they're cleaning. And they share a boyfriend.
No.
So they're like, we are one person. We operate like one person.
No.
And I'm like, this is so strange.
Dude, can we talk about TLC being the learning channel?
They gotta change the name.
All I learn is people are fucking strange.
Yeah. My strange addiction, my 2,000 pound life or whatever.
The 600 pound.
Yeah.
But there is the 1,000 pound sisters.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's a wild time over there. There was a real period where I watched a lot of My Strange Addiction, and I've tried to revisit that show, and it just kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies now.
I won't ever forget the episode of the woman eating her couch stuffing.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you, I almost puked watching it, and I was like, I can't. And then the guy who was like addicted to his car.
He was in love with his car. Yeah. And watching him make out with his car was one of the most uncomfortable feelings of my entire life. There was another episode where a guy was...
It was real mouthy.
It was real mouthy. Like there was tongue involved. And I'm like, do you know how disgusting your car is as well?
Well, eating your couch, do you know how many people fart in it? You're literally eating fecal particles.
Nobody's coming to her house. She doesn't have cushion in her couch. Nobody's sitting on that.
Oh my God, you guys! I saw a best of Reddit updates yesterday. I almost died. I almost sent it to you guys, but I'm glad I didn't, because now I get to tell you and look at your faces when I tell you.
Okay.
This woman was like, "Am I overreacting for thinking about divorcing my husband because he keeps shitting his pants?"
Well,
the answer is no. We talked about this last time. Like. Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait, what?
Does he have a medical problem? What is it? That's going to make all the difference.
Apparently what he does is every time he farts, he then goes around and presses his underwear to his butthole to check to see if it's wet.
Why?
Go to the bathroom. There is a little thing called toilet paper. Girl, we gotta talk about.
Invest in a bidet.
We gotta talk about hygiene as a real thing. Did you guys see the TikTok with the woman who's a waxer talking about how she can tell when people wipe the wrong way? I was like, ma'am, you need to do. But it's true. She made a really good point, which is that it's a privilege.
If your mother doesn't teach you, you don't know that you shouldn't be wiping.
That's right.
Back to front. You know,
that's right.
So then I can't even believe the audacity of like coming in with that sit down air, spreading your legs to get waxed.
That's
and
exactly,
you got doo-doo in your crack.
That's exactly the thing, right? Is it's like, yes, of course, it's a privilege to have had a parent to teach you the right way or whatever, you know, for all things in life. We can say that about keeping a clean home as well, good hygiene practices in general. Like these are hard things to learn yourself, teach yourself as you get older if you didn't have a role model or somebody to guide you in that direction. But for me, maybe I have unusual levels of shame. I don't know. But there is no way. It's kind of the same thing. Like if I was going on a date and somebody was going to be going down on me, the time that I would spend to make sure that all my shit was so clean.
Pristine.
Yep.
You're going to see my vegetal.
Yeah, if you're getting up close and personal, I am getting in there. We're getting that ass crack real scrubbed nice and clean. We're using the bidet, right? We're not eating any foods that are risky before the date.
Right. That's exactly fucking
and
right.
Same thing if you're going in for a wax. Like, be respectful.
Yeah.
This woman has to get down. She's doing a service for you. Please.
Somebody said it's like brushing your teeth before you go to the dentist, and that's exactly what I have to believe. You know, like, of course, right? Like, you wouldn't go to the dentist after you just went out to eat. Like,
I'm not going to blow all my hot air, dirty mouth air all over anybody.
The thing she said that fucking like gassed me was that people come in after they just got nutted in.
No,
girl, I almost gagged. I almost
What
gagged.
is wrong with people? What is wrong with people?
Would you even think that that's okay to do to somebody else? I feel like that's assault.
A violation.
Right?
Truly, yes.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
If I have to see nut and I didn't want any part of it, strange nut. No, thank you. It's assault.
Episode title.
It's assault.
That is so fucking awful.
So upset by that,
girl. But it's true.
I don't want to see semen I didn't ask to see.
Oh no,
ever.
That's right. That's
yeah.
Put that down in the books because that is a real thing. Oh my God. Every time I still think of, and I feel like I've told this on the podcast before, of when I first started working at Shadow, and we had a dressing room that was male and female. Females were on one side, males were on the other, but it wasn't really separated by anything but a costume rack. And there was a girl that worked there that had such a stank coming from, because she used to let dudes nut in her and she wouldn't do anything about it. So you know that smell would just permeate a small room.
You fucking tell me who it is. Bleep it out.
Dude, Thomas, you'll have to play. Do you remember her?
No.
Yeah. She.
Mass Chris.
Oh my God.
I need to have a conversation about why people don't like showers and baths. Like showers and baths are some of my favorite activities in the whole world. Like that top tier activity for me is like sitting in a bath or taking like a really nice, if I need to feel better instantly, it's like walking around in the sunshine or taking a really nice hot like shower. I don't understand why people are resistant to showering. Like if a man were to come inside me, I would be taking a shower
immediately,
right?
Oh,
immediately.
God. Well, I mean,
before
like,
I did anything else.
Pissing.
Right. Or like, I mean, before I leave my home again, like before I go interact with the world, if I can help it.
Yes.
Right. Like if I can help it, like there are things that happen, right? Sometimes you got to do a walk of shame or whatever. But like, if I'm going to like go into a dressing room with other people where I've got to take my clothes, I definitely showered before that. I promise.
100%.
Here's the thing. I'm like, I don't know if other people just have a nose blindness or something like that, but I am so sensitive to those days because let's be honest, ladies,
we've talked about
sometimes
it. Sometimes there's days
when it's just like,
Not so fresh feeling.
Do I not so fresh feeling?
Yeah,
and I'm
we
like,
talked about this. Yeah,
I'm getting a
an
whiff.
SPD, a smelly pussy day. I had one the other day. I almost texted you guys to tell you because I was like, there's nothing I can do about this. Because sometimes it happens when you're already out and about. Like if it's an unusually warm day or something and you're like, man, maybe I should bring like wipes. Yeah. Maybe that's a thing. They actually make them. I think the Pits and Puss wipes.
Yep.
Oh,
that are
nice.
partially for that. Maybe it's like bring wipes, bring a change of undies.
When we did the bags for the unhoused people in LA, they had the wipes that were like the Summer's Eve ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had those. I was like, brilliant.
I canceled a meeting the other day because I was like, I'm not going to feel confident.
Ain't gonna be it.
Nope. I'm not going to close this deal.
Half your brain is just thinking if anybody else can smell it.
Oh, girl. That's all you think about. God damn it. You know what, though? There's got to be, like, here's the thing, literally, and I understand, and I truly get what she was talking about, like, the privilege, like I said. You know, there's people who've gone through like systems, foster systems, things like this that don't have people like adult women to tell other people who go through these things, like how to properly do some of this. It's, I swear to God, there's a whole generation of women too, whose parents just didn't talk about it. I mean, like my mom, thankfully, I mean, she didn't talk about much with me, but she thankfully taught me how to like properly wrap my sanitary items, like, and not to throw them in the toilet if I used tampons. But I think there's a whole generation of women who throw their tampons in the toilet. And I think it's because there was the boxes of tampons that said flushable without their mother or adults, older sister or someone telling them, no, it's just the applicator that's flushable. It's not the entire tampon that's flushable. So I think there's a whole generation of women.
Any of it into the toilet.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. But
me either.
I think that there are a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I will say also, I do understand, you know, people get really depressed and depression manifests differently for everyone.
Absolutely. Yes.
And sometimes it makes it really difficult to take care of yourself or to take care of your domicile or whatever it is. So I do understand all of that. I think for me, it's more of just like, if you know in advance, if you have an appointment, like to get your coochie waxed, or you got a dick appointment or whatever it is, it's just polite for the other person to take care of all of your hygiene needs before you step into somebody else's bubble.
Yeah. Agreed. It's a good rule of thumb. Yeah. Just because you've become accustomed to something doesn't mean the other person's going to be okay.
That's right. And same thing, like, with your house, of course, it's like sometimes you need help. I hope you have really good friends who will come over and not judge you and help you clean up your place and all of that stuff. But if you're just having... I do know that's you, Cassie. I was thinking about you just then.
I would happily.
Yeah, if you're like, man, I've been having a really hard time and I haven't been able to keep up with all my chores and now I feel like it's gotten a little out of hand. Can you come over and just, we'll spend the day together and help me? Like,
Yes, I will.
Everybody needs a little bit of help sometimes.
Yes.
But
people need help. This is the village thing. And I'll say this all day. Every day for the rest of my life. People talk so much about village. It's the goddamn truth. Women who have babies and feel like they can't ask for help, stop. You are not in this alone. Our system of rearing children is so fucking behind in the US. We get 15 minutes off of work before we're asked to do everything and go back to work. And you can ask for help. We don't have systems in place, but we got peoples.
Cass, but now you'll get a medal and $5,000.
Everything. Don't worry about it. No worries.
$5,000 that would just cover half of your hospital bill. But God forbid.
Not even
Do
half.
you even know how expensive childcare is in this country? Like $5,000 is not doing shit for you.
Shit.
Like if I said it before we started recording, and I'll say it again. If you are the type of person for whom $5,000 and a little medal you can pin to your chest are incentives for you to have a baby, you probably shouldn't be having a baby. Like the kinds of people who will have a baby in exchange for $5,000, you probably shouldn't be having a kid.
Isn't this also the same generation that complained about millennials needing prizes, participation trophies, and now you want to fucking offer us?
Well, let's be for real. They were always the ones giving us the participation trophies in the first place. So whatever. I guess this is par for the course, but
well, I mean, meanwhile, they're trying to take away. I think that order they signed this week is gutting like the fair credit. So now, like going back to the days where we need a man to have a credit card, where if you changed your last name, you can't vote. Like, what in the fucking Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah, everybody get a passport. Right, make sure, well, I know a very privileged thing to say, but if you can and you can afford it, please get a passport.
Yeah.
I need to renew mine. I think mine expires next year. So I should renew mine probably right now.
Now. I'll come over and do a load of laundry for you. You run yeah, of course. All the way from Germany.
You'll come all the way from Germany. You'll fly in. Just do one quick load.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Cass, I would not recommend that now.
Would not. No. You stay put. You just stay right where you are.
You guys come to me. Bring your laundry with you. I'll do it here.
There we go.
We don't have dryers, but I'll hang it to dry. It's fine.
Oh my goodness. Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week on that
I got
note?
an idea.
Okay.
I got an idea.
Cassie's hand shot right up.
Okay, because sometimes I wish we could share our group chat as just like a thread.
We've been talking about Katy say
Perry. We were talking about Katy Perry's Unhinged tour. She was in space.
That video of her dancing is going viral. And I have to say, it is, it's bad. Every time it's giving that video of Hillary Duff whenever she was at the like Good Morning America show. And
I don't know this one.
I will send it to you. You know, it's bad whenever I'm looking at it and I'm like,
I can see you counting.
I could do that choreography.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm looking at it and I'm like, I could learn that. Yeah.
Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake, 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 shake your butt. And girl, it is so off the charts. But it's the lack of energy that is sending me, and it reminded me.
It's like, girl, commit at least. Like if you're gonna do this, commit.
It's reminding me of Katy Perry, or not Katy Perry. Sorry. It's reminding me of Mariah Carey. Giving the absolute least.
But you know what? I feel like at this point with Mariah Carey, that's what you're expecting to get. It's like part of the show now that she does not give a shit. Like it's part of her diva-ness that she just doesn't care. She's going to be carried around the stage by like buff men half her age. That's part of the experience at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard... And if this is not true, because I didn't see it, I heard that, and I hate even saying this. I heard Lady Gaga at Coachella gave a real womp performance too.
I saw clips and I thought it looked okay from the clips I saw, but I didn't watch her whole thing. Okay. So I don't know.
Let me tell you what pissed me off about Coachella though, is that those motherfuckers had a incredible Missy Elliott performance.
Girl.
Really? They just stood and just
nobody
watched.
knows.
And I was like, what? It was like the most millennial Coachella. And they were just like so unimpressed. Meanwhile, Missy Elliott came out as a fucking transformer. She came out as a car and just like came and transformed. I was like, oh my God, I would have pissed my goddamn pants. And they were just unimpressed. So
I shook.
Yeah.
So
I would take that with a grain of salt because I feel like the younger Coachella people were just like so
getting it.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know, again, like I actually will go watch Lady Gaga's performance after we're done recording because I really love her and I like her new stuff. I've been listening to a lot of Lady Gaga while jogging. It's actually very good jogging music.
Love Lady Gaga.
But
Queen Aries.
She does strike me as the type who gives her all.
Yes.
To
that's why I was like
performances.
surprised.
Yeah.
Because I read it somewhere and I was like, oh, I didn't.
Everybody has off days. I don't know. Maybe she's sick or something, but
Sure. But I was going to do weak performers, but I only have 2 now so far. So I have Mariah Carey, Katy Perry.
people who give the least.
Giving the least.
all I
Gal
can
Gadot.
think about Gal Gadot. We can't do her. She's so problematic.
She's so awful.
Fucking dude, all I can think of is Fergie doing on that Good Morning America where she does that
but
cartwheel.
You know what? You know what though? You shut your goddamn mouth, Christina, because that is showmanship.
Girl. It's Fergie.
Here's what I have to say. That performance, 10 out of 10. Her delivering that amount of energy at like 6 a.m. on fucking Good Morning America. I can't do a one-handed cartwheel while singing.
Wait,
Girl,
I can't. The
it
one
is
who
one
did
of
the
my-
jazz rendition of the fucking
But,
American.
and
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was going to say. I have seen many videos of Fergie performing in other venues, including that national anthem performance that she did, that are perplexing. That you are like, what is she doing?
Dude, that makes me, oh my God. Every time, my favorite part of watching clips from that are watching the players, try to keep it together.
Oof.
Oh my God.
It hurts.
It's
Okay.
incredible.
Dude, Fergie, Mariah Carey, and Katy Perry.
Oh my God.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh God, this is awful.
Dude, I know 1000% I'm marrying Mariah Carey. That unbothered queen. I love it. She and the snark and the fucking self-confidence and just like fuck everybody and everything that isn't me. I love it.
Everybody and everything that isn't me.
I mean, it's so
Yes.
true though. It is 100%.
I
If
love
she's
it.
not a Leo,
I love it.
I was going to say she gives real Leo energy, but I'm looking it up right now.
you got married to
people-
her and she's like, I don't know her.
Yes.
Oh.
When people talk about serving cunt, that comes from Mariah Carey. I'm
100%.
sorry.
That
That comes from her heart and soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
I aspire to that level of unbothered just cuntiness. I love
I
it.
hope you keep on serving cunt.
Yes, I'm marrying Mariah Carey for sure.
What is she?
Now,
Well, hold on. Let me
Okay.
get Christina's. Let's finish, and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
and then I think I'm gonna fuck Fergie because she, although
Unhinged.
inconsistent, she's unhinged and
She's giving the least and the most.
yes,
And you know, she is also giving unbothered in a different way. But I don't know that Fergie has. Like, here's the difference. I think Mariah Carey is self-aware. I think
Yeah.
she knows exactly what she's
Yes.
doing. I think she
Yes.
doesn't care. Fergie, I don't know. Both Fergie and Katy Perry, I don't know how self-aware they are. Like, you know,
Katy Perry also gives pillow princess vibes.
And Mariah
what I mean?
doesn't?
Well, I mean, Mariah comes with other perks. Like,
Yeah.
that's why
Money.
I'm marrying her. Yeah. Well, and just like I said, can you imagine just like going places or just going to a restaurant with Mariah Carey? Oh my God.
you are
Just
living
wonderful.
luxuriously with Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
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 And then I'm going to fuck Fergie. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it'll be a better time with Fergie than Katy Perry.
Okay.
Plus,
well, I'm going to fly blind here then too, Keegan. Don't
Okay.
tell me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'll fly blind here. I'm going to marry Fergie. And here's why.
Is she still with Josh Duhamel?
I
no,
don't
they
think
haven't
so.
been together
Yeah.
for a long time.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna marry Fergie, and here's why. Because just as I just said, she's giving the least and the most. Like you think like she's trying,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like at least she's trying.
Okay.
Whatever. I love it. That performance I could watch. Genuinely, as all three of us have performed before. Can you honestly watch that? And because I was like, that takes a lot of core strength. She's really working from that diaphragm to keep that note going.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, dude.
She does it like 10 times in a row. Amazing.
She's trying, okay? So I'm going to give her that. I'm going to give her that. At least that bitch tries. I'm going to fuck Katy Perry. Because even if she's not trying, she's got a banging ass body. That bitch is fucking toy.
True.
I'm like, how dare you? How dare you have given birth and just look so fucking tight? And I'm obviously working out, but whatever. She's got a banging body. Don't talk.
Yeah.
I just need to know what goes on in Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's relationship. Like, I need to know because she is such a freaking weirdo.
Bang, 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 bangity bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sex has got to be crazy. That's the thing is, I don't know that I'm getting Pillow Princess from Katy Perry. I'm getting, like, I don't know. After watching that video of her trying to dance, I don't know. I don't think she's got a whole lot of rhythm.
I feel like she's going to need a lot of affirmations. Like, she's somebody to me who needs somebody to constantly be like, girl, you did your best out there. You really did. I mean, listen, you weren't even able to train as much as you wanted to because you had to go to space. Like, she needs these people around
you
her.
Had to go to space.
Had to go to space.
Had to do it.
I think the downfall of her career has to do with being a coach on The Voice. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because she spent all that time doing that when she could have still like been a part of the culture and making music. And honestly, too, her choice to still work with that producer that essayed Kesha.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have a female empowerment song and then go and it's that tone deaf, just like hypocriticalness that she thinks she's above that, and it's like, no, girl, you're not.
Right.
You're not.
I mean, I don't love this terminology, but like, it's the truth. Like, Katy Perry really is cringe, you know?
Yeah.
And that worked for her, like that campiness when she was leaning into it back in like Teenage Dream, I Kissed a Girl days.
Yes.
Worked.
Yeah.
But then she came back without the self-awareness to really know how to market that properly in today's world. Because I think it could have worked. People love camp, but you've got to like really fully fucking commit to it. You know what I mean?
She takes herself too seriously now. You're absolutely right. You're 100% on the nose, Keegan.
Well, thank you so much. But okay, for their signs, before I tell you,
I just keep saying your name just in case people know who we are. Nobody ever knows who we are. So.
Oh Lord. So Mariah Carey is an Aries.
Not shocked.
No,
Fergie
that's
an Aries.
Fergie is an Aries.
Correct.
Wow.
Katy Perry is a Scorpio.
Shit.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, Christina, you chose the two Aries for you in your life.
I can't help it, dude.
And I chose the goddamn Scorpio.
Mm-hmm. Say what you want about, like how incompatible. I really am always like drawn to an Aries, though.
Well, and something about an Aries, when we've talked about this before, and we talked about it recently during Aries season, but Aries women, for better or worse, I guess the men too, but women, it just works better for me personally. But Aries women, for better or worse, have so much fucking confidence.
And
that's why they're like that, right? Like, Fergie doesn't give a shit about doing 10 fucking one-handed cartwheels in a row. and Mariah Carey does not care. She doesn't feel any pressure at all to do anything more than the bare minimum and collect that paycheck. Okay?
Girl, Keegan, it is what we talked about before when I've said before, I'm like, I actually love criticism. I love when people talk bad about me. It just makes me laugh because I'm like,
which I cannot do. Yeah.
don't understand. It makes no sense. I have no reason to be this confident. I mean, there's not like I know my flaws. I am my own worst enemy, which is why no one can outdo me. You can't outdo what I've done to myself, honey. So bring it on. It's just water off my back.
Brilliant.
Well,
all right, Keegan, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to, and I think I'm surprising myself a little bit here. I'm going to marry Fergie as well. I think that there is something about her. First of all, had some bangers in the early 2000s. Okay?
Oh, dude, I loved it.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
I'm a beat.
Fergalicious. London Bridge, please.
Come on.
Lundy.
She was the soundtrack to Business Casual in the club.
Oh my God.
Girl.
Yes, that woman could rock a vest. Like one of those tight vests and low-rise jeans with a belt and a newsboy cap. Girl.
Girl.
Yes. Absolutely. What were we doing?
What were we doing?
But I'm with you, Cassie. I think she's like middle of the line. I think we've done Fuck, Marry, Kills in the past where I have married Mariah Carey because I think that you are living in luxury. She is flying you everywhere. As a Pisces, I'm not ever going to have to make any decisions whatsoever in a life with Mariah Carey, right? Like that woman is...
You're doing what she wants to do.
Taken care of. I
All
am
the
doing
time.
whatever she wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Also, hot stepmom summer to twins. Sounds good. Although I do have to be linked to Nick Cannon forever if I were to marry Mariah Carey. But Fergie is just giving like slightly lower maintenance.
That's
but
okay.
Also
There's so many women that are now linked to Nick Cannon. You'll just be one of 100.
He won't even know I'm there.
Yeah.
Fergie is just kind of like middle of the road between the two, between Katy Perry and Mariah Carey. All three of them are unhinged in completely different ways. But being married to Katy Perry is just a little. It's like I don't want to live in a spaceship, you know, and unless the aliens are really taking me off this cursed planet, you know. I am going to. Oh gosh, this is hard. Because I don't know that I really want to fuck Katy Perry, but fucking Mariah doesn't seem as fun.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I don't want to live on Katy Perry's spaceship, but I will go to visit.
Yeah.
For like an evening.
Yeah.
You know?
What is that HVAC monster
Girl,
supposed to be? Like, what is that big pipe she's fighting?
Somebody said she's fighting the Dune worm with lightsabers from Star Wars in the Matrix. I'm like, yeah.
I also have to say, I am Keegan Winfield and I have been to a Katy Perry concert, okay, in Las Vegas.
Hi, Keegan Winfield.
I went during, I think it was like her Charismatic tour or whatever that thing was called, and Tegan and Sarah opened up for her.
Oh, great.
So I wanted to see Tegan and Sarah. And so I was like, oh, I'll go to this Katy Perry concert. It was a good time. But again, it was like cohesive in a way. Like it made sense. Watching her new tour, it's exactly what you're saying. There's too much happening. It's like there's no real direction. It doesn't feel campy enough. Like it's just awkward to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to do shit like that if you don't feel like 10 toes down about the music that you're putting out.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
You could let the music speak for yourself if it is good, you know. But her new stuff is
her new stuff sucks. Yeah, just play the hits. You know.
Where's Left Shark? Is Left Shark in this show?
I don't know. Wherever he is, I hope he's happy.
Yeah. I'm marrying Left Shark. That's actually the answer.
Yes.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
That sounds good.
Yes. And we're back. Okay, I have the Tainted Love this week, so I'm going to get us started with stories. This one is a little unusual. It's not quite a just a first date situation, but it made me laugh, and I feel like you guys will appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. I've been pretending to love hiking for years, and now I'm in way too deep.
Oh no.
It started as a lie to impress a guy, and now I'm halfway into becoming Bear Grylls against my will.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's like when you marry into the family that runs 5Ks for Thanksgiving. You're like, what personal hell have I?
What did I do? What did I do? I could have had a mimosa family. So a few years ago, I started dating this guy who was all about adventure and living life to the fullest. Read, he owned a Patagonia jacket and had a carabiner for some reason. On our third date, he asked if I liked hiking. I wanted him to like me, so I said, "Oh my God, I love hiking. Nature is my therapy."
Oh no.
Huge mistake.
Why would you do this?
We went on a hike that weekend. It was 6 hours long.
Oh no.
My legs almost gave out halfway up the trail, and I got bitten by a spider that may or may not have been poisonous. But I smiled through the pain and said things like, "Wow, look at that view," while secretly trying not to cry.
Oh my God.
Now it's 3 years later. We're still dating.
Oh.
Diabolical.
I've become the hiking girl to all of his friends. People message me for trail recommendations. I've received gifts of hiking socks. I own a water bottle that says "take a hike," unironically. The worst part, I hate hiking. I hate bugs. I hate sweating. I hate being more than 10 minutes away from a bathroom. But I've committed so hard that I now lead monthly group hikes for his coworkers.
What? Oh, no. Girl, you were in too deep.
I have a Google spreadsheet for upcoming summits. I once pretended to love a view so much I cried. It was just the altitude and dehydration.
Oh my God.
Now he wants to do the Inca Trail for our anniversary, and I'm Googling how to fake a knee injury convincingly. Please send help.
God.
Oh my God. Girl, dude, what do you do? At that point, you're 3 years committed. I think you got to move and change your
solutions. One person said plantar fasciitis, and I'm like, not a bad idea. And then another person said, you have to start a new hobby and then slowly start phasing out the hiking, like letting the new hobby take over. And someone was like, combine those two. Tell him you have plantar fasciitis and like you're so sad that you can't hike as much as you used to, that you have to find a new hobby and then let that hobby completely take over.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is he like a hiking enthusiast as much as she's pretending to be? Oh, geez.
I mean, he must be.
Also, like, yeah, you have to just switch. You have to switch because I'm like, what if he finds out that you...
3 years is too long.
It's
like,
too
you can't
long.
really come clean in a way that's not weird at this point.
I feel like I'm writing a rom-com right now, and I'm like, how does she get out of this? Without
She's got a
ruining
Google
everything.
spreadsheet of summits. She leads hiking classes and shit. Like, oh my God, girl.
Dude, this is why you cannot lie on your bio. You can't lie on that first date, because then look at you 3 years later doing 6-hour hikes.
That was first time. And that's the thing, is that was your out, because you can like hiking and not like hiking for 6 hours.
That's right.
So you could have been like, I meant hiking like Runyon.
Yeah.
I didn't mean hiking like Everest, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Everest.
Not like Everest. 6 hours. Everest.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So, my first date with my ex, it just gets weirder and weirder. Okay. In theory, she was going to a trade show with her dad in the afternoon. I was going to pick her up there and then go see a play. In practice, I think to myself, theater or theater? So I ask her, jeans and t-shirt or a shirt and tie? She says, definitely something nice, but it's San Francisco, so you can probably get away with a jacket and no tie. Done. I can handle this. This was college. I wore a whole lot of black, but got some color going for once. I drove to San Francisco and I immediately got into a fender bender. The other party was a recent immigrant and didn't speak English perfectly, which meant trading off information took a minute. This was pre-cell phones, so I had to track down the payphone to call my date. Ended up being about 30 minutes late. Not a huge deal. I did get to meet her dad right then, though, and remember thinking to myself, meeting dad on the first date, and I'm late. At least I'm wearing something nice. Oh.
I do feel like you have to give a lot more, like pre cell phones.
Yes.
People had to be a lot
wild.
more flexible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You had to be a little understanding. There's no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah. Off to the play. It turned out to be a modern adaptation of Antigone. For those not up on Greek drama, it's the sequel to Oedipus. And is even stranger. This was a San Francisco art house production, so it was legit top shelf weird.
I know exactly what
Yes.
he means by that too.
Yes.
Like
I do. I do.
Okay.
I remember the first time going to like an LA black box theater and showing up there and being told there would be full frontal nudity.
in a black box.
Oh, it's so
That
small.
should be illegal. That should be illegal.
small.
You're too close. You're
Yeah.
too close. If you are closer than 12 feet
Yep.
from the front row, you're not allowed to take your clothes off.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. I feel violated.
Does there have to be?
No.
Is my question. You're saying that, but does there have to be? Is that
Is it integral to the plot?
yeah? Is it a mandatory thing? I'm just
frontal.
asking.
No.
Just inquiring minds want to know.
There's another thing that would require you to wash beforehand.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh God.
Can you imagine the actor didn't take a shower
stop
before his
it.
full front? Okay, sorry.
He's
go
like literally. He's like, I had to go into the gym real quick. Had to beef up. What?
ahead. I've been doing push-ups backstage.
Don't, dude. Please don't. So I was literally the only person in the audience wearing a jacket, and definitely the only one not dressed head to toe in black. Stuck out like a sore thumb. But what's a first date without some awkwardness? The play was great. We got ready to leave, and she wanted to meet her friend in the lobby. Turned out she knew half the cast and the entire crew. Okay, date one. I've already met her dad, half of her social circle. Nobody's been rude to me so far, and I seem to be passing the sniff test.
Yeah, but I don't think that's fair, especially without warning your date.
That you knew everybody, that would be a little
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I do think like a first date, especially like
Neutral.
it's got to be in a neutral location because you've put that person at a serious disadvantage. Like this is 100% her turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the power imbalance. Enough is
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if he didn't know about it beforehand. Like, it's not like she was talking to him and she's like, oh, you know, like all my friends are going to this show and I'm going to.
You're
and
gonna run
he's
into-
like, oh,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you know, I'll go too or whatever.
It does feel
Yeah.
like a lot. However, it does feel like all her people are being very cool about this. So
Yeah, and that's nice,
really
but-
good. I mean, I imagine meeting our friend group would be
I
It's a
know.
lot. It was. Christina did it one
I've-
time, and it was at a tiki place, and we were all talking about our Hogwarts houses. I remember vividly
so
that poor man.
It was so
so
awkward.
vividly. He was like, "Can I get the fuck
We
out
were
of here?"
doing the Hogwarts house test
Oh God.
at the bar, at
Yeah.
the tiki bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
we were
our
a lot.
our second date when I went over to his house consisted of him just showing me his different guitars.
Oh, well,
So
I think that's payback then.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that
Eye for an eye.
fair is fair. Fair is fair.
Yeah.
And so we did Hogwarts. He did guitar. Yeah. Then my date turned to me and says, "They're going to dinner with alcoholic milkshakes. Shall we join them?" Sure. Sounded good to me. Since I drove from an hour away, I knew I needed to be sober later and offered to drive. Everyone jammed into the back of my 86 Jetta and away we went. So visceral. I know this car.
Also, like he said, it was pre-cell phone, so I'm picturing 90s San Francisco, which is such a specific vibe. Like it feels like West Coast Rent is happening right now, like the show Rent,
yes.
but on the West Coast.
Yes.
Like that's what's happening.
Yeah. We found this place and had some excellent fried food and boozy milkshakes, and people get loosey-goosey as people do when there's booze involved. I'm talking to one of my date's friends and realize this chick's my twin brother's college friend. Hey, small world. At this point, my date leans across the table and looks straight at the woman I was talking to and says, "Speaking of brother, I hear you have a brother. I've never seen him. I don't think he exists." To which she replies, "Oh, he exists. He's working right now. Shall we go say hi?" Next thing I know, we're back in the car. I've got my date and 3 women, all drunk, in the back of my car, getting directions through downtown San Francisco on a Saturday night. Straight to the Lusty Lady, a well-known worker-owned cooperative strip club.
Oh, wow.
A co-op. Oh, I love it. I love
That
a
is,
co-op.
again, this is
so
all.
San
This is the
Francisco.
most San Francisco story I've ever heard.
It's so good.
A co-op strip club.
Yeah. We meet this woman's brother at the door. He's working security that night. He explains that everyone works a different shift every night. He was janitorial last night. Now he's security. Tomorrow he's on sound and lights. This is like Shadowbox.
Totally.
All very social workers, co-op stuff. Everyone has a good laugh. Brother actually exists, etc. And then he says, "So you're going in or what?" And hands his sister a double handful of quarters. So now we got to go in. We're literally, I'm like, are they going to throw quarters at the stripper? I literally had no clue.
I'm like, who the
Hold
fuck
your
is
tits.
throwing quarters? Okay.
Not really. So we got to go in. We're in a gang of 5 people. And 4 of the 5 are rowdy drunk. So naturally we squeeze into the disabled cubicle of the peep show thing.
Oh my God.
Put a quarter in the slot. The window slides up. And right at eye level is a dance floor surrounded by a bunch of other windows with one-way mirrors. 4 or 5 strippers are lazily gyrating on the stage, and one of them notices our window sliding up and slithers over. She does this thing for a minute or 2, then puts her face to the glass and peers in. Sorry. She startles back with a delighted look, starts laughing, shouts through the glass, "Are you gonna do it?" We're all, no. Stripper, "You can, you know."
No.
We're good, thanks. Eventually, she floated away again. The others kept doing their thing for a bit. Nobody on the stage seemed overly enthusiastic to be there or to care it that much at all or taking all that much time on their appearance or routines. It was hilarious for a while. And then I think
that's so appropriate given the Katy Perry situation.
Oh,
it was a real Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
strip floor.
I just see them like waving their hands and doing like the body thing. Yeah. The body roll.
Lots of body rolls.
Lots of body rolls. Yeah. It was hilarious for a while. And then I think we all realized we were 5 people deep in a sticky disabled booth in a strip club just because my date's brother. My
Works
date's
there.
in
brother
a
worked
booth
there.
that was encouraging you to fuck in it.
Yes.
Which is like, then that automatically makes me think, has someone fucked in here before?
For sure.
You know? And now I'm
For
like,
sure.
we're all squeezed in here, all sweaty up against like
Ugh.
somebody else's cum, maybe. Like, gross.
I'll say it again. We're in a strange nut experience, and nobody wants.
No,
to,
thank you.
No.
Every time you think of that, I think about strange fruit. Like strange fruit starts playing in my head, which is the worst thing.
Oh no. Not that.
Strange nut.
Oh, I don't like the way this is going. This took a turn. This took a
My
turn.
brain does what my brain does. I can't.
Took a turn. And nobody could really pinpoint exactly what happened to get us there, but here we were. And that's the story of how I brought 4 drunk women I didn't know from Eve to the Lusty Lady in San Francisco on a first date. Oh yeah, that date. We dated for about 6 months after that, before it became blindingly obvious that this would never work out. Pretty sure she still hates my guts, but I got a hell of a story out of it.
Oh my God.
Lusty Lady. What a great name for a strip club.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like there's got to be a lusty lady on Reaper Pod here. It feels very, very, very Hamburg.
Somewhere. Oh my gosh. Okay. This one's called I Ruined a Hookup Because of a Supplement.
Ooh.
So 23, female, am a single woman living in a large-ish city who doesn't really engage in hookups often or at all. Recently, when my routine blood results came back, my doctor told me I had low levels of iron and magnesium.
I know exactly where this is going.
My
Magnesium
and iron.
My doctor, who is amazing, gave me advice in terms of diet, lifestyle, and supplements to get my iron and magnesium up to a normal level again. I took her advice and headed to my local pharmacy to purchase some supplements and headed home soon after. That night, I was scrolling on Tinder out of boredom and swiped right on a guy, 28 male, who was up for some short-term fun. We started talking and planned to meet up that night. It was going to be a one-time thing, and I wanted to make the most of it. Because I had just gotten these iron and magnesium supplements, I decided to take my first round roughly around 7. Oh. Better to start sooner rather than later, right? I didn't really look at the bottles since I trusted my doctor's recommendations and followed the directions. Around 8:30 p.m. rolls around, and I make my way to this guy's house for a hookup. He was super cute, and we got along really well. When we were having some general conversation, though, I noticed my stomach was starting to make a lot of sounds.
Yep. It's time to go home. Go home right now.
Like unusual sounds. Now, I'm also not someone who has digestive issues, so I noticed this right away. It started getting worse as time went on, but I ignored it, thinking that's just the supplements making their way through my body.
Yeah, sure is. All the way out of your body. Here they come.
The guy and I make our way to his bedroom and continue our small talk in there. He got up to use the bathroom, and I took the opportunity to Google the supplements I bought as my stomach was getting so loud that it was making me uncomfortable. I had bought a normal iron supplement, but my magnesium supplement was something called magnesium chelate. At the time, I didn't really care about it since the bottle said magnesium, and it was the brand that my doctor recommended. What I didn't know, it was a natural laxative. It is usually used for colonoscopy prep and really bad constipation.
Babe.
I heard the guy finish up in the bathroom, and I put my phone away and start to panic. My stomach growling was getting worse, and now knowing I unknowingly took a laxative made me nervous.
You got to make an excuse
to get out of there.
Home. Like at this point, it's just like things have gone well so far.
Yeah.
I think he would understand if you were like, "Oh, I have an emergency. Like while you were in the bathroom, I got a text. I have to go. I'll
see you tomorrow.
Hit you up. Yep, later. I had a great time. Like get out now. Cut your losses."
We start having sex.
Girl.
No, you didn't listen to us. I told you, don't go up the stairs.
And the laxative decides to try and kick in.
Yeah.
I have
Dude, if you already have to poop.
And someone's thrust.
No.
Honey, no.
I have this guy on top of me going full ham. And my body is also trying to poop.
Oh my God. No.
I'm squeezing my butt cheeks so hard to try not to poop. It's all happening at once. So many sensations are going on in my body that I simply don't know what to focus on.
You got to focus on not pooping. That's what you have to focus on. There's not even a question. You're not allowed to feel good. You have to just get through it and get out of the situation.
This
if you let your mind go, other things are going to go too.
Everything's going.
You got to stay focused.
I'm like, I need to meet this girl so much. She goes, I don't want to shit myself, but I do want to enjoy the sex.
I'm sorry, this is an Aries. An Aries wrote this fucking story. There's no question in my mind. That self-confidence level.
If you wanted to enjoy the sex, you should have left and come back a different time.
Yes.
Right now you got one goal. It has to be a single-minded goal, and that goal is do not shit in this man's bed.
Okay. I
Mariah
thought that
Carey would.
I know. She'd be like, man. I thought that continuing to squeeze my butt cheeks together would be the best way to go because I wanted to continue the hookup.
No.
But then he turned me around and started going doggy style.
No.
My ass is just exposed. I can no longer rely on clenching my cheeks to stop this from happening. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't want to shit on him.
Then you're going to have to leave.
I somehow mustered up the strength to do doggy for a full minute before asking to stop. My bowels couldn't take it anymore. He asked if it was okay, and I had to come up with an excuse. I told him, this fucking made me piss my pants. I told him, it's just too good. I need to stop because you're too good. Of course, he was smug about it and gave me a smile, and I left. Yeah!
Girl, that is the best that could have turned out.
Oh, God. I drove so fast to the nearest gas station and let it all out in the toilet for a solid 20 minutes.
Girl.
You know that gas station employee who watched her go back there?
You.
When
She comes out 20 minutes later, sweaty.
I felt that every ounce of my being was coming out of my butthole and cleansing all of my insides. I came out of that stall a new person, and then I got in my car and drove home. He messaged me once I got home and told me he was glad I had so much fun.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I was literally about to shit myself, and I gave the guy an ego boost.
Yeah,
I messaged him back saying, haha, yeah, and I have officially given myself the ick now and don't want to talk to him again.
You're like,
Wow.
fucking ruined it for yourself.
That is a champion. That is the best way that could have ended. I was not expecting it to end that well. I was like, girl, you got to get out. You got to get out before it even starts.
Spray this dude.
Oh, God.
No,
It's not worth it. It's not worth the potential.
the idea too that he bought it like, oh,
Right?
it was just so good. I
had to leave.
I had to stop.
I think men are kind of easy
Yeah.
that way. You know,
It's true.
like
You were too good at it.
you were too good.
He's like, yeah, I get that a lot. No, you don't. No, you don't. Sir.
Oh my God. Oh, well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds good. And we're back. Keegan.
Okay, so this story, I was listening to My Favorite Murder. They're doing those like rewind episodes now, which is brilliant of them, where they're just basically going into their back catalog and re-releasing episodes and doing commentary. And they just released the episode that they had originally released right after the 2016 election. Wow.
Tough.
And for obvious reasons, they were like really upset when that episode came out. I can't imagine why.
Oh.
And they did just hometowns. So they just did other people's stories where they like talked about, you know, little things. And one of the hometowns, I was like, I cannot believe we've never done this story, because they were talking about it and I was like, that is insane. And then I searched our little spreadsheet that we keep, and I was like, no, we've never done this. So I am going to tell the story of the Columbo family murders. All right. On May 6th, 1976, officers responded to a suspicious vehicle report in West Chicago. And it's kind of not the best neighborhood. And they find this abandoned 1972 maroon Thunderbird. So a nice car. The hubcaps were missing. The right front window had been smashed and covered with a piece of cardboard. And the ignition had been pulled. So seeing as the car hadn't been stripped, though, they were like, this is probably an amateur who had done this. And they check and see that the car had not been reported stolen, but had been registered to a man named Frank Columbo of Elk Grove Village, which is a suburb 20 miles northwest of Chicago. The responding officer attempted to call Frank Columbo, called the residence a number of times. Each time he gets a busy signal. So he then calls the Elk Grove Valley Police Department, and they send an officer over to the Columbo residence to inform them that their car had been stolen and where it was located. So when the officer arrives at the house, he immediately notices that there's 3 days worth of newspapers on the front porch, as well as a bunch of mail. The screen door is closed, but the front door is unlocked and ajar. And he receives no response when he's knocking on the door. He can hear the dog barking inside, but he's not getting any response. So he walks around the house. He doesn't notice any signs of a break-in or anything unusual, but he's like, I'm going to call for backup before I enter the residence.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls for a backup officer, and they go inside the house. Upon entering the home, they immediately find the body of 43-year-old Frank Columbo. He was lying on his back, surrounded by broken glass. He had, there was a bloody lampshade nearby, and he had clearly been dead for several days. Frank's wife, 40-year-old Mary Columbo, was found outside the bathroom with a bullet wound right between her eyes and a slash to her throat. And at this point, the officers are like, we need additional backup. So they call in an investigative unit. So the detectives arrive. And when they get there, they noted that Mary was still wearing her large diamond ring on her left hand. Her handbag was found in the bathroom. Its contents were all over the floor. They also found human teeth scattered between the top of the stairs and the wall.
Oh, I fucking hate that.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Hate that.
As they proceed through the house, and this is awful, they then found the body of 13-year-old Michael Columbo in his bedroom. He had suffered a bullet wound to the back of his head, as well as the left-hand side of his head, and he'd received multiple stab wounds. They would later find that it was close to 90
Holy
stab
shit.
wounds that were inflicted with a pair of scissors. I think they're like sewing scissors that were found next to the body, along with a bloody bowling trophy.
Ugh.
The search of the rest of the house found that the phone had been left off the hook, and a personal telephone directory was open to a page that had the name and number of the Columbo's eldest child, Patricia, written on it. Outside, police found a 9-inch knife that was lying next to the front stoop, as well as a steak knife in the rock garden. Investigators noted that nothing of value seemed to be missing from the house, or nothing major of value. Like a few things were missing, but there were all of these major electronics, Mary Columbo's jewelry. There was $5,000 in a safe that hadn't been touched.
Wow.
But the house had been kind of made a mess of. Once again, classic criminal.
Ooh,
I'll just
it's a
knock over some
robbery.
chairs.
Yeah.
Right. And then they'll think that this place was robbed. So that, combined with the fact that there was no sign of forced entry, led the police to believe that this was not a robbery gone wrong. 19-year-old Patricia Patty Columbo was nowhere to be found, and so police called her in for questioning and informed her that her family had all been murdered, and she seemed surprisingly calm, which, you know, we say it a million times, people react different ways, but it's your whole family. Like, your whole family's been murdered. And she seems pretty calm. She immediately tells the police that her father, who had owned an auto repair shop, he had been in with the mob. According to Patty, Frank ran a mob chop shop for stolen cars. And he'd probably gotten himself into trouble with the mob, and that's probably what happened to her family.
Okay, well, I guess case solved, huh?
So detectives not only found Patty's seeming lack of grief unusual, but they also made note that she openly flirted with the male detectives during the interview.
I don't like that.
Not the time for it. The medical examiner found that all three victims had died from gunshot wounds. However, Frank was also hit with a blunt object, so they think it was either the lamp or the bowling trophy, and that the teeth were his. So they'd hit him so hard that like 4 of his teeth got knocked out.
Fuck.
Yeesh.
Mary was mercifully dead before she hit the floor. So they shot her. She died instantly, and then her throat was cut after she was already dead. Poor Michael ultimately succumbed to his gunshot wounds, but had, like I said, been stabbed 90 times. The wounds were so small because it was a pair of like sewing scissors. And this is what made me want to look into this case when they were talking about it on My Favorite Murder, because I was just like, that's so horrible. He had 90 little wounds from these little scissors, and they didn't know what it was at the time. They thought he had chicken pox. Because of the way that the wounds looked.
Oh my God.
They also found a long foreign hair on top of his pajamas on his body. A funeral was held for the Columbos on May 10th, so a few days later. The police, suspicious of Patty, they were like, this girl's behavior is so weird, and her flirting with the detectives was so strange that they picked like a young, handsome detective. They were all going to go anyway to the funeral, but they were like, how about you go in and you keep that like close watch on Patty? And so he goes in. She is so brazen about flirting with him at the funeral.
That's so fucking weird, dude.
Right. That her boyfriend, Frank DeLuca, is there. And Patty's family members who had never met Frank DeLuca, which, by the way, can we please talk about your dad and your boyfriend having the same first name?
Yeah, I
Gives
don't
me the
love
ick.
that.
Don't love, yeah.
But they had never met Frank DeLuca, and they thought that the police officer was Frank because Frank was sitting by himself on like the other side of the church, and she was sitting next to the police officer, which is weird.
That's really fucking weird. Yeah.
So they continue to find her behavior unusual, noting that she laughed and joked over cigarettes outside. But once she was inside around everybody, she did this dramatic display of like throwing her body over the caskets and crying.
What an idiot.
Ugh.
Yeah. She also got into a loud public argument with her uncle, her dad Frank's brother, at the wake because she wanted her parents and brother to be cremated, and he's like, we're Catholic. It's against our
Right.
Right. We're not going to do
We're
that.
not doing that. When detectives looked into Patty's claim that her father had mob ties, they came up empty-handed, and so they were like, all right, we're going to take a closer look at Patty. We're going to go full in on taking a look at Patty. By all accounts, Patty was the apple of her parents' eye. She'd never wanted for anything. Her nickname was Princess in the family. And all seemed to go well within the family with the minor.
Maybe sometimes it's okay to want for things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adds character.
And there were kind of... there were different reports on how she felt about her brother Michael, because he was born when she was 6 and she was very spoiled, obviously like apple of her parents' eye, and now she has to compete for attention with her brother.
Yep.
So some people said that she did like resent her brother somewhat for that. So all seemed to go well in the family until Patty got into her teen years. When she was 16, she began working at a Walgreens cosmetic counter and got into some trouble when she stole credit cards from 2 fellow employees, which I'm like, girl, what's the I know you're 16, but what's the long-term thinking here? Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly.
You work with them. Yeah.
you work with these people. So though her father did make restitution, Patty was sentenced to 2 years probation, and the probation was still going on at the time of the murders. While working at Walgreens, a 16-year-old Patty met then 36-year-old married father of 5.
No.
Frank DeLuca.
No. And the same name as your dad?
So many red flags flying up all over the fucking place. So he's the pharmacy manager. So he's also kind of her boss. So he's 20 years older than her. He's married. He's got 5 kids. She is 16, and he is kind of her boss. So DeLuca was known to have had other affairs with women in the store. So he was not loyal. That man ain't loyal to his wife, first of all.
Well, it's also just a fucking creep.
Yeah.
What a creep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had had affairs with other women in the store when he met Patty. And this is my opinion. And there's a lot to discuss about this when we get through the story. But Patty obviously has some issues, very clear issues, and issues that will become clearer as the story goes on. However, she's still a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And he still has 20 years on her.
36-year-old man. Yeah.
And he is in a position of authority over her.
Yeah.
I think he did see someone that would be easy to control and easy to manipulate. So soon Patty was not only sleeping with DeLuca, but participating in, quote, swinging. She's a fucking teenager with other couples.
What in the absolute fuck?
Mm-hmm. Having sex with other female employees in front of DeLuca. He's the boss. He's the manager. Like, this is so
what
fucked
year
up.
is this happening in the 80s?
76.
1970. Yeah, something like that.
Before we were born.
Yeah, I think this is like 72 or something.
It's-
But
okay. I thought you said in
74.
76 was when. Oh, but
76
this
is when the murders happened.
That's right.
This is a couple years before that.
Okay.
So she's having sex with other females employees in front of DeLuca, and she's allowing him to take photos and videos of her, some of which she showed to classmates at school. And this is a detail that I've gone back and forth on whether or not to share, because I don't know how important it is to share, and it's really upsetting. So I will say content warning for animal abuse and just general ickiness. She showed pictures of herself having sex and videos of herself having sex with her classmates, including DeLuca's dog.
Okay.
Okay. She soon dropped out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what is that when you just need attention and it doesn't matter if it's
What kind
shocking
it
or
is?
negative or like somebody that just absolutely needs attention or something?
I don't know.
That's
But that is definitely what it feels like. And it feels like there's a lot of hypersexuality in her behavior as we move through this.
yeah.
And part
it
of
makes
it
me wonder
is-
what else is in her childhood.
Yes.
What else is in her past, and also just maybe needing attention in that way and then getting it from the wrong person.
Dating
like, as
somebody-
a 16-year-old when you're still so like
And I'm saying this.
mentally flexible.
Yeah. I'm saying this so loosely, dating someone who's 36.
Right,
This is
right.
pedophilia behavior. This is
Mm-hmm.
fucking awful. But also, this man is literally old enough to be your father, has your father's name. There's so much going on here that is like
Is in a position of power over you as your
fucking
boss.
awful.
And I think that as someone who probably needed a lot of attention anyway, then getting it this way from someone so much older than her with so much power over her probably reinforced her need to do whatever he wanted or whatever it took to get that kind of attention. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's disgusting. That's why I almost left that detail out, but to me, it almost it speaks to something about her state of mind
Right.
and their relationship.
Yes.
Where I'm just
Woof.
like, what is that?
Yeah.
So her parents didn't even know about the relationship between DeLuca and their daughter. So they were shocked when Patty turned 18 and told them that she would be moving out and in with her boyfriend / boss. So Patty moves into the DeLuca family home.
Oh, you got me so
fucking
fucked
no.
up. What is going on with his wife?
Girl. So she continues to have a relationship with Frank DeLuca, sometimes having sex with him while his wife Marilyn and their children. Her parents are Frank and Mary. This is Frank and Marilyn.
Oh my God.
while his wife, Marilyn, and the children were in another room or out in the yard. I'm like, they were out in the yard? You kicked them out of the house? Like, or they're just like, playtime. We're going to go outside and play while daddy fucks his girlfriend inside. So Patty's parents, especially her father, were vocally disapproving of the relationship,
Of course.
obviously.
Yeah.
Don't say.
So when after a year, Patty said she was done with DeLuca and she wanted to move out into her own place, they were thrilled. And Frank helped Patty find her own apartment and agreed to pay the rent. What she hadn't told her father was that she and DeLuca actually were not going to break up. In fact, DeLuca had separated from his wife and immediately moved into Patty's new apartment. So when her dad found out that he was essentially footing the bill for their love
Fuck
nest,
Pat. Exactly.
he was pissed.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's paying for his daughter to be like shacked up with this fucking creep.
Yeah.
So Frank, Columbo, he goes over to Walgreens. He brings his rifle with him to Walgreens. He confronts DeLuca in the parking lot and he's like, stay the fuck away from my daughter. And he hits DeLuca with the butt of his rifle. So Patty files a complaint and she has her father charged with assault. And Frank, her father, is arrested and tossed in jail. But Patty soon withdraws the complaint. And reportedly, once Frank is out of jail, he's making plans to disown Patty. He's like, we done, right?
Yeah, you're getting cut off.
The Columbos had very little to do with Patty after that until shortly before the murders when, according to Patty, her parents decided to mend fences with her when she informed them that she and DeLuca would be getting married. So they're like, I guess we'll let bygones be bygones since this man is going to be part of our family now. Now, having all of this context, police decide to bring Patty and DeLuca in for fingerprinting. And when they fingerprinted DeLuca, they noticed that he was missing part of his index finger, and they had found a handprint on the Thunderbird, the trunk of the Thunderbird, that had part of the index finger missing. So they were like, seems suspicious, right? Mm-hmm. Detectives then found and spoke with 25-year-old Lanyon Mitchell, who went by Lanny. And he told them that Patty had agreed to go out with him and his friend, 34-year-old Roman Subzinski, in exchange for cash. So she agreed that the three of them would meet up at the Where Else Lounge. Where Else Lounge. I love old bar names. Where they drank and danced. And then Patty, she knew Mitchell around town, knew Lanny Mitchell around town as like this tough guy. He carried a gun. He would do like favors for friends of his in the form of like physical intimidation. So at some point during the night, Patty expressed a desire to have her parents killed. So Mitchell told her that he would do it for $10,000 a person. So $20,000. And he quickly assured, he's telling the story to detectives. He's like, but I never planned on doing anything. I was just trying to impress Patty so that she would have sex with me. I was never planning on killing her parents. So according to Mitchell, Patty called him multiple times throughout October of 1975, wanting to know when he was going to kill her parents. And he kept stalling. He was like, give me a rundown on your parents' activities, give me their schedules. And in return, Patty provided him with floor plan drawings of the Columbo house and informed him about the wall safe, the televisions, the CB radio, furs and diamonds, all the stuff that's in the house. So she's giving him like all this information. In November, or by November, Patty was like, she's getting antsy. She's like, when are these killings gonna take place? And according to Mitchell, she wanted them done around Christmas as a gift to herself.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Mitchell asked for money up front. He's like, okay, well, give me the money up front. And she says that payment would come from the life insurance payout, but as a deposit and a show of like good faith, she agrees to have sex with both Lanny and Roman as like basically like a deposit on the killings.
Man, this is
and so they accept.
Broken person.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So they accept this, and after the encounter, they were given photographs of the family and details on their activities. So she gives them like a dossier, basically. Over the next several months, Mitchell continued to put Patty off about the killings. She would constantly call him. She would tell him that she left the doors unlocked at her parents' house. She was starting to mend the relationship with her parents. So she would go over there and like catch up with them. And then as she was leaving, she would unlock the doors. And this was corroborated by Mary's sister, so Patty's aunt, who was like, yeah, I was over there one time and all the doors were locked. And then after Patty left, like all the back doors were unlocked, which I thought was odd at the time, you know? So she did also eventually tell them that they not only needed to kill both of her parents, but they would also need to kill her little brother, Michael, because he might get older and figure out what happened. So they added him to the package.
It's so awful.
It's awful. So Mitchell continues to put them off, and when he's telling this story to police, he reiterates that he never intended on killing the family and was only stringing Patty along for sex and money. People are so fucking stupid. When they picked up Robin Subzinski, Robin Subzinski is a married father of 3. These are just the worst people. Like, this man is a married father of 3. He refuses to talk. They keep him there all night until like 5 or 6 in the morning. He won't say a word. On May 15th, 1976, both Patty and DeLuca were arrested and charged with conspiracy, solicitation, and the murders of Frank, Mary, and Michael. So the day they're brought in, Patty gave a written and oral statement admitting her guilt in soliciting 2 men to murder her family, but claims she knew nothing about the murders themselves. She's like, I don't actually think they did it, though. But, like, I did talk to them about it. So she initially denied knowing Lanyon Mitchell at all. But when confronted with the evidence, she said she knew him, but didn't think he had anything to do with the murders. When confronted with the dossiers that Mitchell had provided that were in her handwriting, she said that she was forced to write them at gunpoint.
Okay. Sure.
Right. Yeah. And that the sex between her, Lanyon Mitchell, and Roman Subzinski was forced. So she says, she's like, I had to write that at gunpoint. And they forced me to have sex with them. When asked why she didn't bring any of this to police's attention after the murders, like if you have nothing to do with the murders, right, but you know that these men are forcing you at gunpoint to write like a dossier out of your parents' movements, why wouldn't you bring that up after your parents are murdered? And she says that she just thought they'd figure it out. She's like,
I don't want to do your job for you.
Yeah. You know,
job
like,
security,
I think that you guys got it. You look like you got it. Like, what?
Okay.
Roman Subzinski was offered immunity from the state in return for testifying against Patty and eventually Frank DeLuca. After accepting the deal, he spoke to detectives about Patty and DeLuca. He corroborated everything that Lanny Mitchell stated and added that he had spoken with DeLuca in a phone call in which DeLuca claimed that Frank Columbo had taken out a contract on him, and that Michael Columbo would also have to be killed. So he's like, well, we have to kill Frank because he threatened me. He put a contract hit out on me. So that's why I need her parents killed. And then Michael, you know, we need to clean, the whole family's got to go. So this is the first kind of solid evidence that Frank DeLuca was involved in the planning. On July 17th, 1976, Frank DeLuca was arrested again because he had been out. They let him out before that. And he was tossed into the Cook County jail to await trial. And while he was in jail, an inmate named Clifford Childs became his cellmate for the next 6 months. And according to Childs, DeLuca would brag that he had come up with the perfect plan to kill the Columbo family. and that he had shot each family member himself. Why do people talk in prison? Like, all you have to do is shut up. Just shut up.
Because in prison too, you have to also, I think there's this like, oh, I'm tough, I'm hard, and don't fuck with me. I killed people. I think.
My God.
But yeah.
So the plan was for there to be a reconciliation between Patty and her parents, which would then pave the way for them to all get together to meet up to kind of like smooth things over. So DeLuca said that he had the meeting scheduled for 8 p.m., but he purposefully delayed his arrival until 10 in order to establish an alibi at Walgreens. And when he gets to the house, Frank Columbo opens the door and he turns to walk in and go up the stairs. And that's when Frank DeLuca shot him in the back of the head. He then shot Mary, and then he and Patty had gone into Michael's room where the boy had been sleeping. They woke him up, which I think is just the worst thing.
Jesus.
And they forced him to stand. And then DeLuca shot him in the head and Patty stabbed him with the scissors.
Oh my God.
And she's the one who left her hair on his body. Then, and they also think that it was Patty who cut her mom too. That DeLuca did the shooting and Patty did all the stabbing. Then Patty and DeLuca did an obviously piss poor job of trying to make the crime scene look like a robbery. They took some small appliances. They took $150 in cash. And then they took Frank Columbo's Thunderbird, which they hoped would be broken into to solidify their robbery motive. Childs would later provide testimony that DeLuca had also wanted the two alibi witnesses at the Walgreens to be... or not the alibi witnesses, that there were two Walgreens employees who were going to testify against him and he wanted them killed. And he wanted to see if Childs would do it. So Childs was like, sure, bail me out and pay me some money and I'll do it. So he gets his wife, Marilyn, his ex-wife,
Christ,
to bail him out.
I need
couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Can you fucking imagine?
No, I do not accept that phone call. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. So Marilyn bails Childs out, and the plan is for him to abduct both the witnesses, kill them, and bury their bodies somewhere in Indiana. And Marilyn does send two money orders totaling $3,400 to Childs, and then another $830. So this woman also like screwed herself because now you're like an accessory.
Now you're exactly
right. She got 5 kids. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But the amount of money that she sent, even though she sent all that money, it wasn't sufficient to bail him out. So I guess he didn't actually get bailed out, but that was the plan. And so Childs testifies against DeLuca for all of this shit as well. Like Lanny Mitchell and Roman Subzinski, Clifford Childs denies that he was ever planning on killing anyone and that he was only playing DeLuca for financial gain. Just over a year after the murders, Patty and DeLuca went on trial. So the jury returned only a few hours into deliberation to find them both guilty on all counts.
Yeah.
Both of them were sentenced to 200 to 300 years on each of the 3 murder counts.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Good.
Yeah. Additionally, on the solicitation to commit murder, Patty was sentenced to 20 to 50 years to run concurrently with her other sentence, and DeLuca was sentenced 10 to 50 years also to run concurrently. So both defendants filed appeals and both were denied in 1983. Patty was sent to Dwight Correctional Center in 1977 to serve her sentences. 2 years into her stretch in 1979, she was implicated in a prison prostitution scheme in which she organized sexual acts between female inmates and correctional officers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So she also
this woman
racked
is
up
Yeah.
damaged.
horribly
Yes.
damaged.
Yes.
Ugh.
She racked up 20 infractions, but the last was in 2004 for contraband. After that, it does seem like Patty cleaned up her act. She stopped getting infractions in prison. She earned several degrees, received additional certificates for training in literacy and HIV/AIDS peer education, and volunteered as a reading and math tutor for the Literacy Volunteers of America. So she, I guess she was like, well, if I have to be in here now, might as well do something positive with my time, which good for her.
And also, like, you know, we don't know too if any therapy was provided, because
I would hope.
Yeah, you would hope, and then maybe they did get to the bottom of what was making her
act out that way.
Yeah. So this sounds like something from early childhood that just was like a broken
festering.
Piece. Festering.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Frank DeLuca died in prison at the age of 84 of natural causes. Patty Columbo, who now goes by Trisha, is still incarcerated at the Logan Correctional Center.
Wow.
So this story, the reason why I'm surprised we haven't done it is because the press absolutely ate this story up at the time. Of course. I mean,
I've literally never heard this story before. It's so wild.
Me either. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the press ate this story up at the time. It was the 70s. It had kind of all of these makings for a really salacious story. It had a teen girl, lots of sex, family annihilation, like all of these things. And I'm not saying like everything Patty did was so obviously, like you're saying, broken person. Like there's something really fucking wrong with you deep inside your soul and your brain to do something like this. But as often happens, I think a lot of the focus was on Patty. And not saying she didn't deserve all the attention that she got.
Not as much as the older married father of 5 who had her fucking doing sexual acts with his fucking dog. Like,
yeah.
I
mean, and the other men in this story who, I mean, without them, Patty and DeLuca, who knows how much longer it would have taken to arrest them, if at all. So that's good that they were there, to act as witnesses for the prosecution. However, at every turn, it does seem like these men were using this teenage girl for sex, like to get what they wanted, and she found that she can get what she wants. Like I think that she learned that that's currency.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
her. So it didn't surprise me that when she got into prison, that's the thing that she was doing in prison as well.
Right. Yeah.
And again, what about those fucking correctional officers? Like it's a two-way street.
Yeah,
you can't have a prison like prostitution ring with female inmates without the without somebody
such a good
on the
point,
other side of it. Like
is that there's a lot of conversation on her actions, but like she was a young child who learned from these adult men. And who's to say, what if it wasn't like who's to say that she didn't get egged on by DeLuca to murder her parents to get money? You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm certain, absolutely certain that we know so much more about her involvement because I think she spoke more directly with the men involved. And obviously these were her family members. So I think that the focus is on her for a lot of it. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but absolutely this man was in on all of it. And he actually does admit that later whenever I was looking, because he did go in front of the parole board. They both have and were denied. He was denied previous to his death. And he admits it. He's just like, what I did was horrible. I was absolutely involved in all of it. So it's just, the whole thing is awful from top to bottom. It's just terrible. No matter which way you look at it, it's all the people involved just seem like broken, sad people.
Oof.
Not the victims, but everybody else who's involved in it just seems like what a dark, sad, ugly life to lead for all of them, including DeLuca's wife, Marilyn. Like everyone, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow. Thank you for
Sorry.
sharing that.
Everyone's like, ew, gross. I feel bad now. I need a shower.
Yikes. I do feel like I need a shower after that one. That was pretty awful. Wow. Ugh.
What are you guys watching this week?
I'm not watching anything necessarily. I'm watching Leverage kind of as I go to sleep, the newest rendition of that. But I'm reading or listening to Nita Pro's new book, The Maid Secret. So it's like the third installment in the Maid series. This might be my favorite one so far. And I love specifically listening to it. So I waited for my Audible thing to happen just so I could get this book. My credit could come through because the book came out right then. And I was like, yeah, this one's good. It's Laura Ambrose that does the voice,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
the
she's
chick from Six Feet Under. Is that right? Yeah.
Did she do the first book too? Because I listened to the first book.
She did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she's the one who's done all of them. I love her narration. First book, second book, great. This book so far is my favorite. It is really interesting story.
I'll have to get back.
This one's good. Yep.
You know, and this is a good time to bring up because those books, or that I have only read the first one or listened to the first one, but the protagonist for those books is, and the author has confirmed this, a neurodivergent person. And I just want to say on this podcast, with everything that's been going on here in this country, involving neurodivergent people and people who have autism, like right now, I think we all need to kind of like stand up and stand beside all of our
absolutely,
all of our neurodivergent friends and family and people we care about, because what the fuck, like trying to create a registry and all of the things that have been said are just, it's some of the most ugly, wild shit I've ever seen. And yes, it's really ugly. So support authors that are creating deep, complex, neurodivergent characters.
Yeah. It's also how the Nazis started. That's exactly their starting off point. So yeah, it's
really scary times.
I could have like a whole podcast. I could go hours talking about every single thing that pisses me off about what they're doing. But I
you're like Daily Zeitgeist, call me.
I got into a kind of depression hole last week and decided to watch Pride and Prejudice not once but twice.
Oh wow. Okay.
Gotta do what you gotta do, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
The 2005 version.
Obviously.
Just love it so much. But I also watched the very first episode of The Rehearsal.
Oh.
Which season 2?
Yes.
Yes. I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I find him so fucking funny. It's so awkward. And so, yeah, if you have secondhand embarrassment, but it's basically like around the fact that like the number one cause of plane crash is co-pilots not feeling comfortable to speak up against the pilots. So he's created a whole airport. It's so fucking funny.
Me as a co-pilot, I'm like, this is fine. We're literally crashing. That's okay. It's, you know, I don't want to make him feel like he doesn't know what he's doing.
If you have secondhand embarrassment or don't like awkward situations, this is definitely not the show for you. But I don't know why that just like tickles me. That was the thing that always made me laugh at Shadow too, when things that were supposed to be funny, like were not, they didn't get a laugh. That would always be the thing that would almost break me, because it's so like that awkward tension. It just always makes me giggle. So
makes my skin crawl. Like I can't watch things like that. For me, I mean, I've been rewatching a lot of the same stuff, but I did start, because I got Hulu. I started watching that Fox Hollows murders, Creep City.
That guy,
Creepy.
I'm like,
it's bonkers.
What? They caught him in like so many lies, half truths, mistruths. I'm like, he knows more about.
He's got a weird vibe too. Like vibes based. His energy is very strange.
Yeah.
But then I also started watching Surviving a Serial Killer, which is just like a true crime show where they interview people who literally survived serial killers. And I don't know. I like it. Yeah. If you're a true crime fan and you like that kind of true crime show where it's just like to camera.
Yeah.
Talking about their experience.
No
and
reenactments.
I just can't even imagine what that must be like
Yeah.
To be Ted Bundy's surviving victim.
oh my goodness.
What must that be like to survive something like that, to face a person like that, and like hearing them describe the change? That is the most creepy crawly feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like when every single time I hear somebody, even when you're watching I Survive or whatever it is, describe the moment that like a seemingly normal person had that like eye switch where they like their eyes changed and then they were like terrifying.
Oof. I'm so glad
much.
I've never experienced that in real life, and I don't need to. It's been described beautifully by other people, and
God bless them.
I rebuke this in the name.
Speaking of Christina, I got one of my favorite surprise places to be on TikTok is accidentally falling on the side of African parents' TikTok.
Yes, I saw that of them.
Where they made him watch The Conjuring.
Yes.
It is so fucking funny.
Went and got a Bible.
He went and got a Bible. And the minute the movie starts, because right in the beginning of that movie, they start talking about demons, and the mother goes, "Rebuke it in the name of Jesus." And then they turn on gospel music.
Yes.
Singing.
I was like, this is what I feel, because Eric's a huge horror movie fan, and I'm like, I like to keep that energy outside of my home, and
My domicile.
go see it in a movie theater.
Go see Sinners today.
Yes, I've heard
Yeah.
it's so good. I definitely want to go see it. So
It's a little harder to watch it here. It's harder to find like screenings that are in English because everything is dubbed
Yeah, I bet.
German. Yeah.
Oh, well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you just want to reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.